What's up, everybody? My name is Ron Amos, and welcome back to Less Pressure Podcast. How are we doing? It's another beautiful day. I'm so happy to be back. Another week. This is episode 8, I believe. And yeah, we're out here. We doing our thing. Today has been a day. I am so tired. I woke up feeling like I got hit by a bus this morning. Like I felt like I got hit by a Mack truck. I had a late rehearsal last night, and when I woke up, I just did not feel like getting up on my feet and doing anything. But I still did it. I did what I had to do. Got up, got at 'em. It took a lot of reframing of my brain to do so, but you know me, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. You know, I'm gonna always show up. You know, when I gotta show up. So it's been pretty cool. It's been a pretty smooth week so far. Besides that, you know, just being grateful, being, you know, just very happy with the way things are going right now. I got a lot of things to look forward to. So my mind is kind of in a pretty good place. You know, I'm looking forward to the future right now. Anyways, today's podcast episode, I kind of want to talk about something that's very not popular, but I want to say just meaningful, I think, for a lot of us when it comes to living life in our 20s. So I just want to talk about how we can make the best of our 20s. Now, when it comes to living life just in general, there is no instruction manual. There is no, right or wrong way to go about life. It's kind of like you kind of just got to try things and experiment, So I feel like a lot of people, when they get into their 20s, they kind of are expecting it to go a certain way, or they have these ideas and things like that. So, and then a lot of people are depressed in their 20s, because TV kind of romanticizes our 20s to make it seem like it's going to be the best times of our lives. It's going to be just super easy. And, it's just like this really cool thing. But for a lot of people, it's kind of difficult and kind of scary. So, with me being 26, almost 27, I'll be 27 in May. I kind of want to just talk about some of the things that I've picked up along the way and some ways that I've tried to make the best of my 20s. So far, my 20s have been a good experience, but it's been a roller coaster for sure. It's not been just a smooth sailing, ship. It's been a lot of, there's a lot of different stuff going on. Too much to explain in one sitting, but yeah, so I just kind of want to talk about how we can make the best of our 20s. The first thing that I kind of want to talk about is just the fact that in your 20s, I think that it's just an amazing idea to travel, to just see new places, see new people, see new cultures. I did a lot of traveling in my 20s. I'm talking about my 20s like I'm not in my 20s anymore, but I'm still in my 20s. But I did do a lot of traveling earlier in my 20s, especially. I know that I never really traveled growing up. I might have went on a couple family road trips here and there, but they were always to the same place. They were always to the South, to Mississippi, to my family reunions and stuff like that. And we'd always just road trip. I never got on a plane or anything. But when I was 21, I bought my first plane ticket. And I got on a plane and, I went to L.A. I got on that plane and I went out there, by myself. And it was just such a cool experience because it was just the first time I had ever been anywhere out of Chicago as an adult. It was pretty cool to see the palm trees. I had never seen palm trees before, or I had never seen the ocean. So it kind of just opened my eyes to the fact that the world is kind of bigger, than just your hometown. I think that it's very important to travel. And when you're out there traveling, meet new people, talk to them. You'd be really amazed by the people that you meet when you travel and you go to different places or different cities. It's just really cool to, expand yourself in that way. So I think that in your 20s, it's always a great idea to travel. Just if you're thinking about going somewhere, just buy the plane ticket. just buy the plane ticket. It's really, really not that hard. Because that was always the thing for me. It was like, oh, I want to go here, but I can't. Should I? And then one day I just bought a plane ticket. I didn't even know I was gonna get there. I literally bought a plane ticket. And I actually went out there and I stayed with my friend that I met online. His name was Saul. We were both like content creators at the time, and I met him, through social media. And I went out there and stayed with him and his family, and he took me around LA and stuff like that. And we went to that convention, VidCon, from like back in the day. I don't know if they still have that anymore, but it was pretty cool. I mean, I don't necessarily suggest meeting up with strangers, but I had known Saul for a while, so I finally went out there and hung out with him. We're still pretty cool to this day. So shout out to Saul Gomez. Yeah. But yeah, so that's definitely a thing. And then I also think that it's really important to just try new things. I think that as we grow up, we kind of have our mind made up on, what we like, what we don't like. But hey, I feel like this is specific for me too, because I'm such a stubborn guy. I'm such a stubborn guy. And I hate trying new things, especially if it wasn't my idea to try something. Like, just try different shit, just try new things. And you might find that you like different things just by trying them. Just always try new things. And be open to meeting new people. Just because in your 20s, you will become friends with the most like just random people, that you will meet through different things. And I found that to be very true for myself. I would be maybe at a bar and I'd be just dancing. And then I see some other people over there dancing. Turn out that they're dancers too. And then now we're friends. My friend Daniel, I don't even think Daniel remembers this because I think Daniel's like in his 40s now. No, he's not in his 40s. My bad. He's not in his 40s, but he's like getting up there. Like he's like late 30s. And I met Daniel at a bar, and he was freestyling. He was dancing and shit like that. And we went over there. We started dancing with them. And now me and Daniel are really cool. And I've worked on so many projects with Daniel. And he's one of my favorite creative people, And that's just being open to meeting people, when you're out and about, and just open yourself up to that. Yeah, so just be open to meeting new people. Try your best to just be an open, not an open book, because I don't feel like you should be out there just telling all your business, but I feel like, just welcoming people, welcoming people in, and even if it's on like a surface level, just allow yourself to embrace new people, Yeah. But you also want to know your limits, because I know a lot of times when people think about their 20s, they think about partying and they think about, that wild life that comes with being an adult and having all that freedom and having access to alcohol and things like that. But it's very, very important to know your limits, so that when you are in these situations, if you are a partier or you end up in these social situations where everybody's doing all this crazy stuff, like whatever, and you might not be comfortable with doing some of that stuff, or it's just really important to know your limits. And that's something that I always it was always true for myself, was especially when it came to drinking. If we're out and we're going too hard, or everybody's getting fucked up, and I'm a little bit more sober than everybody, then I'll completely just slow down on the liquor. I'll stop the liquor. I'll just start drinking water, because I just want to make sure that everybody's safe. So it's cool to party and have a good time, I think, but it's also very important to know how far you can go before things get bad. So I don't think you should just try to push your limits all the time. I think that you should know what's within your control and things like that, or know how much is too much, or know how much is good enough, or because when I go out now as a 26-year-old, I'm not out there to be the most obliterated person. I just want a little buzz, a little something. I ain't trying to do too much. and then that's it. I just need a little something to loosen me up, and then after that, I'm cool. I don't need all the shots and all that stuff, and let's knock them back. Like, nah, I don't need all that. I'm just cool with a little bit, and then I'm Gucci. I'm chilling for the rest of the night. I'm vibing. So yeah, just know your limits, because that's the safest way to be a party goer or to be a social person. Just know what's your thing. Yeah, just know your limits, man. It's too crazy out here. The world is too dangerous to be out here just not caring. Just know your limits. And yeah, so the next one I want to talk about is dating around. I think it's very important to date around in your 20s, because I think that through dating you get to really know yourself. I think that you really get to understand some things about yourself that you might not have been able to understand otherwise, because it's almost like you have to find the meaning in every encounter or every relationship or every interaction that you have when it comes to dating. You have to kind of find the lesson or the meaning in all of it, and kind of reflect it back to yourself. And I don't think you should just be a hoe out, just hoe around and hurt people's feelings and shit like that on purpose. I don't think that, but I think that it's really good to kind of get around and meet people and go on dates and see what fits you and what doesn't fit you. But I think that it's very important that you do date, because I know a lot of people that they go into their 20s in relationships, and they leave their 20s in relationships because they felt like they kind of were stuck there, or they felt like they just had to be there, and they never really got to date around and experience themselves as an adult. So I think that it's very just a good idea to date around in your 20s, and there's nothing wrong with dating around. I think that as long as you're honest and you never are manipulating anybody, or you're never trying to use people and things like that, I think that it's okay to date, as long as you're honest with your partners and stuff like that. And if you it's not good to tell somebody, yo, I'm trying to be in a relationship, and then just so you can sleep with them or something. That's out of hand. Don't do that. But definitely date people, and you might find your person. You might just find that person very, very soon. It's nothing wrong with that. So just date around in your 20s. It's a great idea. Great idea. Yeah. Next up, I want to talk about this one is very important. I think that it is damn near just 100% all around important to release expectations. Going into your 20s, I feel like there is so many expectations that come along with being a 20-something in America or wherever you live. I think that TV has a lot to do with it. Jersey Shore probably played a lot into it. Everybody watched Jersey Shore growing up, and they kind of had these ideas of how to party and stuff like that, or just society in general. But release those expectations. Live the life that you want to live. There is no right or wrong way to do your 20s. There is no do it this way, do it that way. No, do it in a way that's honest and true to you. But release all those expectations. And don't feel like you got to have everything together by a certain point in your 20s. Don't feel like you got to graduate, at a specific time, or you got to have a job by this time, or be in a relationship by this time. Let all that shit go. I don't know who created all those false ass ideas, but let those expectations go. Release them. And I think that releasing those expectations is the only way to truly have a good experience, because there's no idea of what it has to be. You just get to let it be authentic. You get to let it happen how it happens. I definitely had all these expectations of how my 20s was going to be, and I learned real fast that I had to release all that shit, because it just wasn't adding up to what I thought it would. You know, I would see other people in their 20s, and a lot of people pretend pretend that their 20s are so perfect, and they're living the perfect life in their 20s and shit like that. But you come to realize everybody got their shit. You know, everybody's got their stuff. You know, nobody's life is perfect. We're all struggling to find our way and find ourselves. Just don't let the expectations get to you. Release all that shit. Release it. You know, let all that shit go. And get to know yourself. You know, like really get to know. Use your 20s as a time to get to know yourself. Because I feel like when you're in your when you're a teenager, you're just a little baby, you know. And when you turn, 20 or so, you're free and you're able to do what you want, and you get to experience life in the way that you want to experience life. So I think that a lot of the things that you probably were told you couldn't do growing up and like stuff like that, like you get to do it now because you're an adult and you're in your 20s. So just get to know yourself, get to know what you like, get to know what kind of people you enjoy being around, get to know what kind of hobbies you enjoy, get to know just what makes you happy, what makes you feel uncomfortable, what makes you feel like sad, what brings you peace. Get to know all those things. I think your 20s is a perfect time to do all that. It's a beautiful time to really truly understand and be introspective and just like indulge in yourself. Make your 20s about you. Make them about understanding what brings you the best energy in your life. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I've been trying to do. I grew up when I was like 20 years old, I would always say like, I'm just going to be selfish. I just want to be selfish. And that was such a great mindset to be in. Like, I think, but at the same time, it became kind of bad for me because I didn't have a good balance of being selfless and selfish. I was kind of just selfish and everything was about me because I'm like, this is my life. I just want to live it for myself, And I think you got to have that balance of being selfless too. You got to have a little balance of both. But yeah, I definitely got caught up in the being selfish part. But I learned fast, obviously, that you need that balance, So it's about you, but not everything is about you. So don't think that everything is all about you, All right, moving on. So the next one I want to talk about is taking risk. Now, risks are very, very scary, and especially if you lived your life kind of like in a safety, secure zone always. Taking the risk could be like the most scary thing you've ever done, no matter what it is. The most recent risk I took last year, or one of the most recent risks I took last year was quitting my job. Now let me talk. I kind of want to talk about this later on, like another episode, like in full. But I'm gonna touch on it a little bit because it definitely played a big part in my life last year. So, how old was I? I was like 25, turning 26 last year, and I found a way into a really amazing company. It was an engineering company, and I was making like 50. I was set to make $50K a year, and I had no experience. I had no college degree. Everyone else in my department had college degrees, and I was the only one. And I found my way into that job, and I wasn't happy. Like I felt like I had achieved such a great thing, but it set in that it like wasn't what I wanted. I wanted a creative career. I didn't want a career in finance. So I decided to leave that job one day while I was I was working from home a specific day, and I called my supervisor on Teams, and I let him know. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore, And it was a risk, and it was scary, and it was hard. But it was something that I knew I had to do for myself because I'm destined for something bigger than that. That was pretty cool. It was great, but my purpose is higher than that. And that's something that I still believe to this day, is that risk, while I sometimes think about it like, man, should I have done that? Like, I would be so much more financially secure right now than I am right now. But I mean, it paid off in a lot of ways, because a lot of things that I get to do and that I've gotten to do, I wouldn't have been able to do with that job. So I'm honestly just grateful. I mean, it honestly paid off, even though it's hard to understand because of the financial aspect of it, like the money side of it. Like, it definitely paid off because my life is so much more free now. I don't have a boss. I don't have somebody that I report to. It's tough, but yeah, take risks. It's if it scares you, it might be something that you want to try. If it scares you, it might be something you want to try. And I don't know if that applies to everything, but some fear can be good, because there's a lot of beautiful things that lie on the other side of discomfort, and your fears. When you get on the other side of your fears, man, you're gonna find some beautiful things. So yeah, take risks. Yeah. So next up, I want to talk about chasing new experiences. I think that the only way to truly look back at your 20s as being successful is by looking back and saying, I am fulfilled within my experiences that I had. That's my goal, is to say that I had great experiences. These last couple of years, last year especially, I got to experience a lot of cool things, and I made a lot of memories, and some of these memories I made with the most unlikely group of people. But I am so grateful for those experiences because they've really left a mark on me. Those memories that you have and those experiences that you have that leave a lasting imprint on you. I've had a lot of those, and I'm so happy and grateful for them. But I think that if you chase new experiences, I think that there's a lot of satisfaction that can come from all of that. I think that's honestly, that's just the way that I want to have my 20s. I just want to have a lot of experiences, honestly. I used to be so scared of new things and shit like that, but now I'm just in a point where I'm just like, yo, just give me everything. This year specifically, I don't have my whole year planned out, but I have some events planned so far that I'm excited to experience. And I have a really, really big experience, hopefully, that can partake in the summer. And I'm just hopeful that it goes through and it all works out. But this experience, it would be one of those big life-changing experiences, that could really just leave a huge imprint on my life. Just leave the biggest, it could be the biggest. So chasing new experiences, try it, But yeah, those are pretty much all of the ideas that I had for ways to make the best of your 20s. Now, if you're 20, 21, 22, 23, however old you are, and you just feel lost in your 20s, I want to just let you know that is normal as fuck. This is the time to be lost. Your 20s is the time to be lost. Allow yourself to be lost. But it's not the end of it all. 20s are a time to figure things out and find yourself and figure out what you want to do and who you want to be, and experience things that you weren't allowed to experience before. Allow your 20s to be that, an exploration period. Don't allow it to be a definite thing where you have to do this specific way. Explore, but be open in your 20s. And you're going to get hurt. And you're going to be sad sometimes. You're going to be emotional sometimes. But you're also going to be happy. You're also going to heal. You're also going to look back and have a lot of great memories. So allow your 20s to be beautiful and allow them to be free. Don't constrict yourself. And also don't look at turning 30 as a bad thing. 30s, I can't wait to turn 30, honestly. I just felt like I'm going to be so much more wiser and have so many more experiences under my belt and have so much more knowledge. Turning 30 ain't the end all be all. It ain't the end of the world. Because there's some 30-year-olds that I know that still dancing, and they dance better than me. So allow your 20s to be fun, but don't think that when you turn 30, it's all over and the games end. The shit's going to keep going on for me as long as I want it to until I'm like 75. So you better believe that when I'm 75, I'm still going to be fucking shit up, But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you today. Please leave a nice 5-star rating on the podcast. Let me know if you have any thoughts or opinions on anything that I said in this podcast. Follow the podcast on all the social media links in the description. Hit me up on Instagram. And I will see you guys next week. Bye.